Just trolling around with man's best friend, we're back on SFO Grimhammer in the deserts of the Tomb Kings, where the Beasts of Wintertooth are lining up some big stick diplomacy for the profit of Sotek. Throgg and a Werekin, packing some pachyderm heat with the great MAWHERD of Bloodfjord. Stampede of woolly mammoths with a massive charge bonus, and some very nice melee capabilities to boot. Fimir and Marauder champions will be working in tandem in that heavy infantry grind, but they'll have to watch the skies above, because Colossadon hunters are on the prowl. What's a Colossadon? I have absolutely no idea, but apparently these guys hunt them, so they're probably pretty scary. And say hello to Tichi Huichi's Raiders, straight from the Dogs of War army book. It's a little skink on a big dinosaur, powerful shock cab unit that can mess your day up pretty bad, and so can Tehenowin, Quetzalcoatl reborn, a serpent god in the flesh, leading lizardmen into battle. So as we get this game underway, Skin Wolf Werekin's got an ability called Wolf and Vigor that works quite a bit different than regeneration. When he's out of combat, he doesn't heal at all, and he has a very small HP pool, but as soon as he enters melee, he gets a huge boost to healing for 30 seconds, which then slows down over time. But while the regen loses some of its potency, he gets other buffs as the battle drags on, as long as he stays in CQB. Throgg is brutal as ever, but he has a bonus versus infantry now, not against large. And alongside that troll metabolism, if you don't have fire damage, he can be very tough to bring down. No salamanders here to snipe him out either. Beasts of Tashnar and Marauder Horsemasters with Ice Wolves on each flank. And the star of the show, the great MAWHERD of Bloodfjord, a monster hunt unit that previously only existed in campaign. Now in multiplayer, they've got 105 charge bonus and do better against large targets. Not your standard mammoth single entity, because there are 4 of them. They can run stuff over and look pretty cool while doing it. Marauder champions with great weapons have Weather the Storm, giving them missile resist while engaged in melee. And with that, that rounds out the rest of the Norscan build. So, across the desert, fly the Lizards of Sotek, Riperdactyls and Colossadon hunters, providing close air support to Tichi Huichi's Raiders. And those are an elite tier Dogs of War regiment with a 25% ward save and protection of the old ones, giving them huge buffs if they're losing melee combat. Move at 90 speed base, giving them a ton of maneuverability, and they hex nearby enemy lords and heroes with a passive speed and defense debuff as well. We may have already laid our official Dogs of War dreams to rest, but Kataf Southern Realms and SFO Grimhammer are 2 pretty good ways to get a taste of that mercenary booty. Now, overhead soar the Riperdactyls. The beet red version are meant for killing monsters with their bonus versus large and their Toad Rage. And they have a seriously nasty stat line. They can munch on your monsters all day long. Definitely a unit to watch out for in this battle. And the Riperdactyls right next to them are, of course, the regular anti-infantry variant. Chameleon Skinks going to be doing some skirmishing. And the Prophet of Sotek flying overhead with the Lore Beasts and all his items equipped. He is unbreakable in SFO, so will usually be the last lizard standing if everything else goes to hell. And the infantry build, not super interesting, just some Sora Spears, Red Crescent Skinks, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's going to be the entire melee focus. So, 2 pretty melee-focused factions, honestly. A lot of monster killing power, a lot of aerial dominance from Lizardmen. Pretty cool to see Tehenowin and a bunch of Riperdactyls together. He's also on his own Ripper, so they're going to be able to pick and choose their engagements wherever they want. But keep an eye out for those Marauder Horsemasters who do have a bonus versus large in SFO on their javelins. It can be pretty powerful against a bunch of Riperdactyls overhead. A Manticore summoned with the transformation of Kadon. It's got 500 weapon strength. Pretty vicious, and you can guess where he's going to go. With a free summon like that, probably going to go right in and start dueling with some of the heroes and lords and see if he can deal some damage. Remember that in SFO Grimhammer, the summons are working like they did last patch. They do degen, they do lose their health over time, so you have a limited amount to do as much damage as you can. He's going to go right in and get right at that Werekin, who has a very small HP pool and doesn't regen except for when he's directly in melee combat. So not a bad idea to take him out, or try to anyway, do whatever damage you can, because as soon as this battle's over, Werekin's not going to be able to regen until he gets stuck in. If he takes a ton of damage here, might be a very worthy trade. Manticore, of course, not going to win this fight. Throgg beating on him, Werekin beating on him, and Werekins have a huge bonus for large in SFO Grimhammer. So, yeah, he's going to get pooped on, and he did. Will collapse into the middle of that Marauder unit. And Werekin took some serious damage, though. Lost a third of his health in the middle of all that, and again, will not be regenerating until he gets into melee again. So that was pretty cool. Over here, you see Tichi Huichi's Raiders using that 90 speed to close the gap. And the Marauder Horsemasters are actually poisoned by those Chameleon Skinks, so it looks like Tichi's Raider just got into charge range, and they are going to close the gap now. When they get into charge range, they get even more speed. That's any unit, not just these guys. And they're actually going to close the gap and catch up with a skirmish cav. The problem with that is that they're pretty exposed. Ice Wolf's going to charge in from the flank, tie them down, and they were taking some bonus for large jabs to the face as they chase too, so they've already taken some damage over on that side. Colossadon Hunters on Overwatch, looking for a juicy target to slam into, and on this side, Fimir Great Weapons and the Marauder Champions moving into melee with the Red Crested Skinks and dropping an all-too-physical hammer on those poor cohort of Sotek. I just can't imagine why anyone would want to beat the brakes off an innocent little skinky boy. They're adorable. Now you can see here that the Colossadon Hunters have a perfect avenue to charge right into the back of all those units, and over here, an overcommitment to Tichi's Raiders, who have been themselves overcommitted to this flank, trying to chase down the Marauder Javelins. Not a good idea. Way too much stuff over there to kill them, but it's kind of worth it to kill such an expensive unit, so it's not that bad, but we're going to notice that we overcommitted over on that side and try to pull back the Mammoths and stuff. But that will leave the rear of the Norscan left flank completely exposed to the Colossadon Hunters. We're going to get a great rear charge in, popping Toad Rage, and going to work, going ham on the back line of the Norskins, and those Fimir will drop very quickly. But Beasts of Tashnar right there to overlap. They also have that bonus for large, and Ripperdactyls are not a unit you want to see pinned down by a bonus for large unit, because they are very fragile. They're a glass cannon. They can hit like a truck, but they die in droves as well. A huge Overcast Flock of Doom going to catch like 6 or 7 Wintertooth units. Tehennowin in there too, and the cohort of Sotek using that Refuse to Die to stick in and fight for as long as humanly or lizardly possible. There they go. But yeah, it's a huge commitment now over on the Norscan left flank and Lizardmen right. In the middle, Marauder Champions and regular Marauders trying to hold the line against the regular Red Crested and normal Skink variant, and some Ripperdactyls going in to reinforce, and those Marauders have absolutely no hope whatsoever. The MAWHERD of Bloodfjord going at it now. Tuss gonna just paint the sand with Picker everywhere. Lizardmen dying in droves, and the Pachyderms gonna take the old ones people to Pound Town. That's what they do best, man. Now they are bonus for large mammoths. They just rampage. They are feral as well. So ideally, you'd want them on top of the Rippers or some of the monsters. They got some attacks off into them, and back here, the Marauder Horsemasters running shop all over those Chameleon Skinks, which is great, because Chameleons are one of the most annoying ass units in the game. Every time I see them die, I am very, very pleased. They are much less cute than normal skinky boys. Here, Saurus Spears gonna get hit in the face by some Fimir Hammers, and the Ripperdactyls in the back of the Marauders might cause a rout there, but looks like the Norskins are holding on pretty admirably, and the Werkin and Throgg will see them off. Very smart of them to pull away. Colossadon Hunters in ruins like Wayne Rooney after the World Cup, and they have just been shattered over on that side. Here, Chameleon Skinks again gonna get run down, and this is why having a 90 speed missile cav pretty useful, because they're actually quite good in melee too. They can beat up Chameleon Skinks. Looks like a Flock of Doom going down there, and some Ripperdactyls going into reinforce to kind of zone them out. But Throgg and the Werkin are on the hunt, and they are looking for monsters to slay. The Lizardmen Infantry doing pretty well, and in fact, the MAWHERD of the Bloodfjord took a ton of damage when they rampaged in the middle of all those spears and in the middle of the Red Crested Skinks. But here they come. Don't have control of them and have no way to get them under control. They will be rampaging for the rest of the game, and they're rampaging into spears, which is not ideal, but 105 charge bonus, very high melee attack, amazing stats. You can expect to see a lot of Saurus dying. You can also expect them to die a lot here, because they only have 30 armor, and Saurus have what? A normal variant has 52 weapon strength. I'm not sure what this one does, but we just saw one mammoth drop, and the others will probably be soon into the grave as well. Not where they want to be, but it kind of is, because that's where they decided to rampage into, so go figure. Here we go, we got Marauder Horsemasters firing into the flank, get some really good bonus for large jabs into those Ripperdactyls. Tehennowin looking to reinforce and support them with some nice Wind of Gur, but Throgg the Troll King, Vomituous Breath, Corrosive Acid gonna melt the left flank of the Saurus, and send them scurrying, and then he'll wade in and start punching them in the face as well. 30 bonus for infantry means he hits at 95 melee attack when he's hitting Saurus in the face. Back here to Henowin, chasing down the MAWHERD, and we saw them get some camera time. We saw them kill some stuff for sure, but they weren't on the field for too long, and one strike will finish off the baby mammoth. I feel so bad for that little guy, and the bigger one will leave her baby to rot, and that will be the end of that. No more MAWHERD of the Bloodfjord. That guy just got tossed into a Fimir and bounced off his back. That was pretty painful looking. Playing basketball with little skinks. Riperdactyl still holding in the center. Very admirably. They've been holding out really nicely, but the Marauder Horsemasters get some really good shots in from the rear, and the Werkin back up to full HP. I mean, death stalks the land here for sure. Tomb Kings kind of giggling in their crypts, watching as everything goes down. Throgg about to vomit all over the front of the Saurus unit. Reminds me of the first time I ever had Burnett's vodka. Stuff is nasty, and yeah, I mean, the entire unit is pretty much going to melt under that. We'll rout very soon. Fimir in there with their Bone Crusher contact effect, and Throgg doing the same thing, bisecting Saurus as they walk by. Don't get near that big hammer. He's gonna make you pay. To Henowin on his Riperdactyl, trying to keep Lizardmen in the fight, and with that AoE rating, he actually just routed a bunch of stuff there. It was pretty good. Fimir routing, and looks like the Lizardmen are actually rallying relatively well here, going right after Throgg. But do they have an answer to that? And the Werkin is the big question. Taking them down, gonna be incredibly difficult. If the Colossadon Hunters are still around, probably could. The fact that they're not, though, and a rear charge coming in from Marauder Horsemasters, things are starting to look pretty dire for the children of the old ones. Balance bar shifting heavily in Wintertooth's favor, and as everything routes, that means we're going to be seeing a last stand from Henowin, who's making sure the Fimir with great weapons don't come back to the fight. Always important to do this. You see an expensive unit like that one, don't let it come back. It doesn't matter if it has very little HP. All it requires is them to just block something up for a couple of seconds. Throgg hits him in the back, and that could be the difference between winning and losing. So what Henowin's doing is a very, very good idea, but it's an uphill climb for him for sure. And taking out Throgg and a Werkin by himself, realistically, not gonna happen. But it doesn't mean he can't try his best. We're gonna see some Amber Spears arcing down from above, and we're gonna take the honorable duel. Throgg may not be Wolfric in terms of his dueling capabilities, but he can certainly hit like a berserker. My love for you is like a truck, and he's going to show it to Henowin, who is boss. So this should be a fun one. I mean, I think Throgg has like double his HP. He's got that troll metabolism. No flaming attacks going his way, so he's going to win. And Henowin is not a duelist, especially not against large targets. But after a long, hard-fought battle, it's nice to see even monsters and snakes can show some honor and duel for the gods. Even kick him in the face. Karnath. Very pleased with that one. That animation is like the laziest thing I've ever seen in my life, which is, I guess, you would expect from a Troll King like Throgg. Economy of motion, I guess we could say. Henowin trying to get that charge bonus in and turn it somehow. But he's got no shot here. Throgg the Troll King will take a couple more swings to put him in the ground for good. And that will be your battle. The unbreakable Prophet of Sotek will crumble into the sand and be lost amongst the ruins of Nehekara. Bang. Got him. GG, well played. So, it was an interesting game. I thought that honestly, I liked the MAWHERD of the Bloodfjord. I thought they were pretty solid. Yes, they're feral. Yes, they rampage. Yes, they have no armor to speak of whatsoever. I mean, 30 armor is pretty pathetic. But they killed, alongside the Beasts of Tashnar, they were the ones who did the majority of the damage to the Colossadon Hunters, which were a very important unit. I'd give a lot of the credit there to Beasts of Tashnar, but the Mammoth certainly helped. And they got a lot of kills on high-value targets, which was pretty good. I think they probably paid for themselves this battle. If they killed 3 or 4 of the Colossadons, that's probably enough there. Got some kills on the Saurus. It was a tough match for them, though. I mean, there's a lot of targets there that ideally you want them in Cav, right? And the only Cav unit on the field was the super expensive one that was used on the other side. Obviously, I think Zach Spain knows this as well. In fact, he said it when we were in Discord. He got a little bit overzealous with Tichi Huichi's Raiders, saw how fast they were, saw them get real close to those Marauder Horsemasters and chase them down. Wanted to kill them and get them off the field, which I understand, but losing that unit kind of set a lot of things in motion that made it hard to come back. Because when you lose that heavy calf, it's that expensive, then things can kind of snowball out of control from there. And it let me get some nice charges into his Ripperdactyls that if his calf was still alive, I would not have been able to get away with. But SFO Grimhammer for yet another fun multiplayer game. Really been enjoying it. Of course, we'll be working on some more vanilla action as well. Hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. I'll see you next time. Peace out.